Who am I? I'm a medical doctor, classically trained, allopathic medicine. So presently I'm a full-time clinical electrophysiologist with Banner Health in Phoenix, Arizona, and hold the faculty title as a clinical associate professor of medicine at the University of Arizona Medical School in Phoenix. So I used education as an excuse to travel, and took a while to sort of find myself, but it's been a real adventure. So I started out as a mechanical engineering major, graduating in 1995 with mechanical engineering, and then wanted to head the medical direction, but didn't have my pre-med rec. So I used a master's degree in bioengineering at the University of Pittsburgh to finish up those, and then got accepted to the MD PhD program at McGill University because I really still enjoyed research, and then completed a PhD in pharmacology, looking at heart arrhythmia energetic mechanisms in 2001, and then finished my medical doctor in 2004. So stayed in Montreal for internal medicine, then went to New York City for cardiovascular fellowship at Columbia, and then wanted to focus on the clinical aspects of my research, which is clinical heart rhythms disorders. So, and transitioned back to the West Coast. So I went to UCLA for clinical cardiac electrophysiology fellowship, and wanted an extra year of training, went back to Virginia for that, and finally finished and entered the workforce in 2012. So a little circuitous, but we got there, and boy, what a trip. So after about 10 years in clinical practice, looking for ways to help my patients in all the, meeting all the other health issues that they have. We do wonderful things with cardiology and with heart rhythm disorders, but patients have so many more needs, and I've always been searching for ways to help my patients in addition to the things that we can apply, that we do sort of classically through our practice. And I was actually in Vancouver, Canada, almost to the year in 2022, giving a talk sponsored by Zinzino, which is an omega-3 supplement product that I still use and I'm excited about. And I was in Vancouver giving a talk about heart supplements and a number of things that I'll recommend to patients with cardiac pathology, from coronary disease to heart failure. And then also enhancing the patient's experience of life and living, and which has led me to an interest in the pineal gland in your head, your third eye mechanism, and natural psychedelics, which are produced or should be produced by the pineal gland. So I was in Vancouver giving a talk on that nature, and Melanie and Ted White were there at the health conference with the LifeWave booth, and they were right next to the little spot where I was giving my talk, and approached me afterwards, and we got talking. And Ted said, we have these energy patches, no drugs or chemicals, but they will amplify in your body some of the supplement products that you've been talking about. And of course, that was very fascinating. And I had some shoulder pain at the time. Ted used LifeWave to reduce my shoulder pain sort of immediately, and I was instantly hooked. As electrophysiologists, we think that we should be the gurus of human energy and human electricity. And here was a new technology that was clearly tapping into those mechanisms that I hadn't been introduced to and didn't know about, but clearly was having biologic effects and in real time. So the picture on the left is me signing up as a silver at that conference. And I was off to the races with my LifeWave experience. So we have a young team in Phoenix, Arizona. We're kind of going by the name Team Dr. James, for lack of a better name right now. There we had a meeting last week. There's some nurses in there. There's 2 veterinarians in that photo. There's a Reiki master, and people here are getting excited about the LifeWave product, and also for building businesses for themselves. Disgruntled nurses, been in the business the whole time. Healthcare is a pressure cooker. It's a real squeeze. And a lot of people looking to take their patient experience and their ability with patients and their kind of understanding of human needs and how patients think and how healthcare interfaces with individuals to offer them, something else, and that being LifeWave. So I'm research oriented, and would have, been looking for ways to do research with LifeWave. So here is my first published case report. Oh, is there a question? I guess it's sorry, some reverberation. Anyway, published my first case report using LifeWave products, and this just came out in March. It's not yet searchable online, but it will be shortly. I'm happy to email anyone a PDF of this particular technology.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so this came out in a journal. It's kind of a European journal of cardiology, a single case. This is what had happened. So cardiologists, interventional cardiologists do these heart catheterizations with radial artery access in your arm. They access the radial artery like these needles are showing, and insert a sheath and pass catheters up to the heart. So I had sent one of my patients for one of these procedures who needed it, and she came back with radial nerve injury. So next to this artery is the nerve, and if the needle inadvertently traumatizes the nerve, people can have, nerve injury. So she came back. She had pincer grip strength markedly reduced, a lot of numbness in her index finger and in her thumb, and so loss of strength, pain at the site of insertion, and numbness. Those are her three complaints: loss of strength, numbness, and pain. So I had, I work in a very traditional medical environment, so I'm cautious with patches, but sometimes I can't resist, and pulled out an ice wave, and we used some of the standard mapping techniques on the spot to really, to almost eliminate her pain, restore her grip strength, and really markedly reduce the numbness, with the tan patch on the site of the catheter insertion. And then we mapped around with the white patch, and the best spot was on the opposite side of the wrist, kind of in the web space there. And I was so impressed with this that I went on Amazon and ordered a gripometer, met up with her about a week later, and could demonstrate with her before and after the patch that her grip strength literally did double with the addition of the LifeWave patch. So that was the story, and that became the basis for the publication. And that let me write up and sort of summarize mechanisms of the patches and summarize David's literature with the patches, to come up with a bibliography, and has helped me tighten down my story of the mechanisms. And I think gaining some traction in the cardiology literature, where hopefully this becomes a familiar topic and is able to reach many more of my colleagues, because it's being presented to them in a form that would be familiar to them. So this was our first step in that direction. And I've got a couple more in the cooker. Just before I go to the next one, I'll just show this for more testimonies and things I've noticed. Here is another gal in my clinic. We patched her with an Eon patch, in one of the recommended locations. And within 30 seconds, you can see that the vein of her arm has become engorged, and the arrows kind of trace on the pathway of that vein. It's subtle, but you can see kind of the mountain ridge there, compared to the other hand. So yeah, fascinating to me that this acute vein engorgement, so clearly energy. That's the only time I've seen it, but within 30 seconds, these patches are at maximal effect, and that lady's vein jumped up, So when you start to wonder if these things have biologic effects and you see things like that, you're like, wow, in real time and acutely, this is causing fairly significant cardiovascular shifts. And that really inspires about what mechanisms could be at play here. And this other picture, my mother-in-law, or soon-to-be mother-in-law, sciatica pain relieved with IceWave, and she's just really thrilled with the patches and using them regularly now in Washington, D.C. So it's just such a joy. One of the joys of being a doctor is actually helping people and making them feel better. And when we see those results, it's such a point of satisfaction. And with LifeWave, for so many of these other issues that people have, being able to impact those as part of their cardiology visit is really rewarding for us. So I just enjoy it, and gaining a lot of my own clinical experience, addressing all sorts of mainly pain issues, but then energy issues and mental clarity issues and mild cognitive impairment issues that people have getting results with LifeWave. And it's so exciting to see that, and really increases your own confidence in what the technology can accomplish for people. So here is another case report where literally last week came finally to fruition, and hopefully this will become another paper. Sorry for the graphic images if people are sensitive, but if the pacemakers we implant become truly infected, they absolutely have to come out. And here is a case where we had to remove an infected pacemaker that really had become quite nasty, and do an extensive debridement in the skin to remove all of the infected material. And then once you've done that and created this large hole in people, probably the preferred way for that wound to close is what we call by secondary intention. And that is, you leave it open, you keep it clean, and you allow the body to fill in that hole. You can't you should best to avoid suturing these things closed, because there can be residual infected material in there that just can create more problems for you. So fortunately in the community, we have wound services that will travel to people's homes that have this problem. They'll be with them, they'll help with the dressing changes and different applications, and follow the wound to its closure. I felt badly for her and offered this person LifeWave. I just gave her patches, either X39 or carnosine. I kind of gave her a mix of both. And so she calls them the dots, and she put these next to her wound. And really, we saw over 3 months, what I think is a remarkable progression in her healing, from this gaping hole that the body has to just fill in on its own, January 25, to getting smaller sort of month by month, February 22, then March 31, and here finally on the right side of the screen on April 19, we've reduced that to a scab. So now it's completely closed, and we'll keep patching, and I'm sure it will look untouched in another week or so. So this would normally be covered with the dressing during the day like this. So here's a picture with the dressing on and the patch, but when you take it off, you can just see that wound shrink. And the wound care specialists who are visiting with her every day say this is, easily twice as fast as what they would expect, in their experience of dealing with wounds on a daily basis. So that's a nice adjunct to help out with some of the complications that unfortunately we deal with commonly in our profession. So another report that I'm hoping to publish in the cardiology literature and raise awareness in our community about the effectiveness of LifeWave. Other things in my trajectory, a project that I've been working on for a long time is developing, writing a book based on pineal gland health and the potential of pineal gland activation to restore quality of life and healing in our lives. My partner, Sharmi, is CEO of her company now, Sacred Shroom, which is a psychedelics mushroom company that will be establishing cafes here in Phoenix and hopefully around the country in the next year or two to come. Here's a picture. I'm medical director for this up-and-coming company. So very interestingly, the pineal gland, when it activates, it produces 2 natural psychedelic compounds, which should give us a naturally, a psychedelically nuanced experience and perception of our reality. Our reality is supposed to be more interpretive than purely objective, which is the way Western society has sort of moved us. And with poor pineal gland health, the way we've drifted as a species, and something that I feel that we need to recover from. So the 2 natural psychedelics produced by your pineal gland are DMT and 5-MeO-DMT. DMT is what's in ayahuasca, for people who are familiar with that plant medicine from the Amazon. 5-MeO-DMT is found in several plants. It's also found in the venomous secretions of the Sonoran desert toad. Mike Tyson made that one famous by using it regularly and having quite a transformative experience in his life. The molecular mimicker of both of those is psilocybin, which is available in certain magic mushroom species. and those are becoming decriminalized across the country, including in state of Oregon, also Colorado, and certain cities, and several of those being in California, and those will become available to us. The state of Arizona just committed a $30 million bill in state funds to study the medicinal benefits of psilocybin. And for myself, I recognize those as being molecular mimickers of pineal gland hormones, which are something that we are sadly very deficient in our society, as well as in melatonin as we age. Melatonin levels by the time we're 50 or 60 on average have decreased to 20% of baseline levels when they were peaking in us as kids and as teenagers. So dramatic reductions in some of these very important hormones that our brain should be producing. And of course, the dovetail to that is that these LifeWave products have ways of replacing these hormones or replenishing them for us. The Silent Nights patch stimulating the release of melatonin, compensating for a decline in pineal gland function. Alavita, very importantly, the mechanism is reported to be, and I believe it's true, the stimulation of the release of epithalamin, a pineal gland hormone, and accessing pineal gland activation mechanisms as its modality for improving quality of our mental health, improving quality of sleep, improving quality of our skin through the very powerful antioxidant mechanisms that melatonin provides for us.
Yeah.
I would like to, I'm hoping that as awareness of my activities come with the publication of the book, hopefully in the fall, and that promotion of that book, or as I attempt to promote it, and also as our Sacred Shroom company takes off, we're hoping to feature LifeWave products as a part of that, and that the awareness will grow together, and that will be a mechanism of my business growing faster in the future, as an adjunct to the other things that we have going on and have been pursuing for quite some time. So some very interesting developments, and a particular point of curiosity for me is the psychoactive properties of the LifeWave products. I think of the ones that are psychoactive being Silent Night, Alavita, Eon, helping a lot of people with sleep, and then of course the Nirvana product with its increase in endorphins. The combination of those for treating and improving mental health is very exciting. And I think as the natural psychedelics, for example, become more commonplace across the country, as psilocybin legalizes across the country, or certainly decriminalizes and sort of goes the way of cannabis, my guess is that's going to increase interest in LifeWave products as people see that there are things in addition to plant medicines which can sort of contribute to the same mechanisms of benefit. So that's a very interesting development that's going to be taking place in this country in the few years to come, that I think is going to generate extra interest in LifeWave as well. So I am still very young in the business after being involved for a year. I'm still at the manager level. I share with patients, family, and friends, have created users. People in my group are very energized about the business, and we try to support those as best we can. I'm still very interested in the research aspects of LifeWave, hoping to publish more case reports and eventually clinical studies in the cardiology space, which I hope will make the technology more accessible to my colleagues and give them the confidence they need to recommend them to their patients. I have been involved in social media for a good amount of time. I have my own YouTube channel with about 36,000 subscribers right now. And some of my successful videos of late have been LifeWave interviews of individuals I've met who had been on LifeWave products previously. The videos were so successful that LifeWave compliance told me to take them down. So we're trying to come up with videos that are sufficiently compliant. But that's been interesting, and has been an interesting way to grow the business, as I've had individuals in Europe and around the world sign up themselves, even at the diamond level, based on watching the videos and moving forward on their own. I've attempted to email and contact several of those people. A lot of times I haven't heard anything back from them. So I hope everything's going well. And of course I'm available, but
Dr. James, I hope you're a diamond already, right?
Sorry?
You're a diamond already, right?
Yeah, oh, I'm a diamond. Yeah, I've upgraded
Okay,
myself to diamond.
Because I just heard you sign up a diamond, and I hope you're a diamond.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's happened. So yeah, I've definitely upgraded. I'm wearing 2 to 3 patches a day myself. Listening to Roy, I might be going to 5 or 6, feeling the benefits for myself. My hair hasn't grown back yet. Either has Rick, so I don't feel terrible. So yeah, so the book promotion, energy optimization, pineal gland awareness optimization. I think America has been, really screwed over with fluoride and the problems of pineal gland calcification. Some of those things that we've lost by way of human experience. That I'm hoping to contribute to a movement to replace those hormones, pineal gland cleansing to reactivate on the special properties of that gland, and seeing LifeWave being a very important adjunct to that. So as that movement in my life develops, I think LifeWave is going to come along for the ride and it will gain a lot of traction. So that's something that's really complemented kind of my own life mission statement and purpose. And that also with Sacred Shroom, which is really the product of my partner. But we're hoping to be opening shroom cafes starting here in Phoenix within the next 3 months. And, yeah, so there's Amanita muscaria is a psychedelic mushroom which is already legal and even FDA approved in the United States. It's a European mushroom, but it never got scheduled it never made Schedule 1 to become illegal in this country because the compound is sufficiently different from psilocybin. So while we wait for psilocybin to decriminalize and legalize, we're going to start with Amanita muscaria. And it's just amazing to me that no one else has jumped on that yet. But that product is not widely available, despite the fact that it is legal and FDA approved in the United States. So, and then hopefully as that movement takes off, LifeWave will go along with it. So that's been my trajectory. And the trajectory I'm pursuing and very excited about it. So I've met great people and thank Roy for this opportunity and, Melanie and Ted for supporting my enterprise and for involving me in LifeWave. Rick DeLuca, totally inspiring when we had the chance to first meet there in Glendale in July of 2022. Nikki and Larry have been great. Lorenzo's fantastic. And of course, thank you.